Yeah.
Gotta get their fast shot.
Yeah.
Gotta get their fast shot. There it is.
Hello Britball Nation and welcome to the first of our power rankings following the second weekend of fixtures for this Uniball season. Ooh-wee, have you guys made this an interesting start to the season, and this week's power rankings went through probably a dozen drafts before we settled on a trio of top 10s we were more or less happy with. We're sure there's going to be those of you who disagree, and if so, all you've got to do is let us know in the comments down below. As always, we're kicking things off with Division 2, so let's jump into it. Let's get the grimy bit out of the way and take a look at the teams that didn't make the cut this week. Opening the season with a 26-0 defeat against the Canterbury Chargers, the Mariners have no place in our power rankings. They had high expectations of themselves coming into the season, and after going undefeated last year, we agreed they looked likely to be contenders, but in a 6-game season the impact of every loss is magnified, and the Mariners are at risk of sinking. Similarly cut, but barely, the Southampton Stags were actually on the majority of our draft rankings, and so are definitely due an honourable mention. We just couldn't find an appropriate home for the Stags after so many other teams won in a convincing fashion. The Southampton Stags won their opening fixture but made it look like hard work, waiting until the closing moments to find the score that gave them the edge over the City Sentinels. Ugly or pretty, winning is winning, but the Brunel Burners, who dominated the Stags in both meetings between the two teams last year, once again appeared to loom large over the 2A South. The Stags return to action this weekend against the KCO Regents side, who are yet to take the field for 16-17. A strong win here should see them return to the top 10. Napier hold on to a power rankings position, but barely. They're 1-0, but they need to start showing more firepower, especially with the likes of York now climbing up the rankings. They don't return to the gridiron until week 4, so they'll need results to go their way if they want to hold on to a rankings berth.
9.
Why yes, we are cheating and bundling up two teams together once again. You know, this rankings thing is hard, okay? Both rookie outfits are deserving of a place in the rankings after sterling performances in their respective opening fixtures, and while the UCL Emperors did outshine their rookie rivals by shutting out their opponent, both programs have opened their Uniball tenures in the best possible way. The Vipers do slide a little in the ranks as more established programs get their seasons underway. We'll see the Vipers in action again this weekend and have an opportunity to find out whether their week 1 demolition of AIU was just beginner's luck. Their upcoming opponents, the Westminster Dragons, open their season against the Vipers, having had a tumultuous off-season. The Dragons will have only had a head coach for the 16-17 season for around a fortnight coming into this fixture. If the Vipers slay the Dragons in the same convincing style that they took apart the Rhinos, look for them to rise, whereas we'll learn more about the Emperors when they take on the Stags in week 4.
8.
The Centurions rise into the ranks off the back of a comfortable 30-6 win over the UWS Pyros. The Borders Conference teams are not known for their big scorelines, so if the York side can continue this kind of offensive output, they'll likely outpace most of their rivals. York face their Rose Bowl rivals this weekend as they travel to Lancaster. The Bombers had what must be one of the worst seasons in Uniball history last year, going winless and even worse, scoreless. Yes, across 7 competitive fixtures the Bombers were unceremoniously dropped out of Division 1 after conceding 274 points and scoring none of their own. They'll look to do better in the lower tier, while the Centurions will be looking to keep marching up the rankings.
7.
The Mud Dogs looked comfortable in their win over Edge Hill, and it's tough to see any of the young programs in their conference that can realistically be expected to challenge Bangor for top dog. Oddly, for a team used to the joyous weather of winters in Wales, their passing attack in particular looked dangerous on Sunday. They continue their season this weekend when they take on the Kiel Crusaders, and will want to keep building momentum ahead of the less familiar opponents that follow, the Leeds Griffins, the Bradford Bears and the new Chester Legion programme.
6.
When the Chargers took away a modest win from the Essex Blades in week 1, few took note. When they slapped 20 more points in one game on the Mariners than the Greenwich team conceded in the whole of the 15-16 regular season, however, yeah, that turned some heads. Greenwich, undefeated through the previous season, plummet out of the power rankings, and at 2-0, or nominally 3-0 courtesy of LSBU handing all teams in the conference walkover wins, the Chargers appear to hold the keys to the 2A South East. The Chargers, however, won't play again until week 5, and even that's iffy if the ARU Rhinos have not received their new kits in time, meaning we might not see the Chargers take the field again competitively this side of Christmas.
5.
Colonials win, but slide courtesy of being leapfrogged. We would have liked to see something more convincing from the Colonials, though the reality is their opponent at the weekend, the Leicester Longhorns, are likely a lot better than their 1-win record from last year would imply. The Colonials see action again this weekend against the Northampton Nemesis, who opened their season in week 3 after postponing their assigned week 2 bout against the DMU Falcons. These two sides were closely matched in their meeting last season, but then the Colonials went on to build momentum following the Christmas break, while the Nemesis came through the second half of the year with 3 losses and a postponement.
4.
Blitz win win and yet drop a place? Indeed, that's what happens when your victory comes off the back of a lucky deflected pass. Plymouth showed last year that the Blitz without their starting QB are a completely different team, especially on offense. Backup Rod Guevara-Rios found confidence as the game against OBU went on and will continue to develop as he gets the lion's share of practice snaps, but as a more traditional uniball quarterback he doesn't create the mismatches that having a lineman-sized QB who runs like a tailback can create. Luckily for the Blitz, they only have one more pre-Christmas matchup to come, away to Bournemouth in week 5.
3.
Gladiators climb off the back of a convincing win over the Bournemouth Bobcats. Coming into the year we had high expectations of the Bobcats defence and concerns about the Gladiators' O, but both beliefs seem to have been unfounded as the Gloucestershire side simply found ways around the Bournemouth defence, the South Coast side having no answer to the Gladiators' jet sweeps, courtesy of speedster back Daff Matheson. Gloucestershire take on Aberystwyth this weekend and will look to match the beatdown that the Barracuda put on the Welshmen.
2.
We don't see the Burners again until week 4, though at least by then we should have a good picture of the shape of the rest of the conference. Expect the Burners to stay put until we know a little more.
1.
And the Coventry Jets continue to fly high at the number 1 spot. The Jets don't return to action until week 4 and will realistically be looking for something like a 50-burger to displace the Jets from the top of the rankings until then. So, what do you think of this week's rankings, nation? They're certainly getting tougher to put together and we know that there's got to be some people unhappy to not see their own team climbing into the top 10. If you think we've got it wrong, we'll only know if you tell us about it, so go on, give us an earful in the comments down below. Of course, if you more or less agree with our rankings or just like the new format, give this video a thumbs up. It might seem unimportant, but it really helps us out. Like the changes we're making here at DC? Well, why not subscribe so you don't miss out on future content? And in the meantime, play hard, play safe, and why not take a look at our scoop of everything you need to know from Uniball Week 2, a whole weekend of Britball compressed into 10 minutes. Ready, steady, go!